Welcome to our faith community. Today we've got a Bible quiz packed with lessons to strengthen your walk with God. Stick around until the end and share how many you got right. What did Joseph's brothers do to him out of jealousy? A. Killed him in the field. B. Sold him as a slave. C. Put him in prison in Egypt. D. Kicked him out of the house. Correct answer? B. Sold him as a slave. Verse, Genesis 37:28. Midianite merchants passed by. They pulled Joseph out of the pit and sold him for 20 pieces of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took him to Egypt. Joseph's brothers were jealous because he was Jacob's favorite son, and because of his prophetic dreams. They initially plotted to kill him, but ended up selling him to merchants heading to Egypt. This cruel act, however, was part of God's plan for Joseph to eventually become governor of Egypt and save his family from famine. What did Ananias and Sapphira do that led to their death? A. Lied about the sale price of a property. B. Denied Jesus publicly. C. Tried to steal money from the temple. D. Fled from Jerusalem. Correct answer? A. Lied about the sale price of a property. Verse, Acts 5:1-5. But a man named Ananias with his wife Sapphira sold a piece of property and kept back part of the money, brought a portion and laid it at the apostles' feet. Ananias and Sapphira tried to deceive the early church by keeping part of the proceeds while pretending to give it all. God, through Peter, revealed their lie, and both died instantly as judgment for dishonesty and attempting to deceive the Holy Spirit. Who was King Artaxerxes' cupbearer, who later led the rebuilding of Jerusalem's walls? A. Nehemiah. B. Ezra. C. Zerubbabel. D. Josiah. Correct answer? A. Nehemiah. Verse, Nehemiah 2:5-6. Then I asked the king, if it pleases the king, give me a letter to go to Judah, to the city of my ancestors' graves, so I can rebuild it. And the king, with God's favor on me, granted everything I asked. Nehemiah was the cupbearer to the Persian king, giving him access to the royal court. He used his position to get permission and resources to rebuild Jerusalem's walls after the Babylonian exile. Which Israelite judge defeated the Canaanite army led by Sisera? A. Gideon. B. Deborah. C. Samson. D. Jephthah. Correct answer? B. Deborah. Verse, Judges 4:14. Then Deborah said to Barak, Get up, for this is the day the Lord will give Sisera into your hands. Do not fear his army. Deborah was a prophetess and judge who led Israel against the Canaanites. With Barak's help, she defeated Sisera and his army, showing the power of faith in God and courage to follow his will. What tactic did Gideon use to defeat the Midianites with just 300 men? A. Direct daytime attack. B. Nighttime surprise with trumpets, torches, and jars. C. Heavy cavalry. D. Trap in a cave. Correct answer, B. Nighttime surprise with trumpets, torches, and jars. Verse, Judges 7:19-20. The 300 trumpeters sounded, broke the jars, holding torches in their left hands, and shouted, "The sword of the Lord and of Gideon." Every man stayed in position around the camp, and the enemy army fled. Gideon followed God's instructions, attacking at night with small groups, trumpets, torches, and jars. The noise and chaos caused the Midianites to panic, giving victory without a huge army. In which battle did King Saul die? A. Battle of Gilboa. B. Battle of Jericho. C. Battle of Ai. D. Battle of Rephidim. Correct answer? A. Battle of Gilboa. Verse, 1 Samuel 31, 1-2. The Philistines fought Israel, and Israel fled. Saul and his sons were killed that day. King Saul died at the Battle of Gilboa fighting the Philistines. Severely wounded, he took his own life to avoid capture. This battle ended his reign and paved the way for David to become king, showing the consequences of disobedience and God's sovereignty. How did God help Joshua in a battle? A. Stopped the sun and moon in the sky. B. Sent an earthquake. C. Destroyed the enemy with plagues. Or D. Drowned the enemy in a river. Correct answer, A. Stopped the sun and moon in the sky. Verse, Joshua 10:12-13. Joshua spoke to the Lord and said, "Sun, stand still over Gibeon, moon, over the valley of Aijalon." So the sun stood still, and the moon stopped. During the battle against the Amorites, Joshua prayed, and God stopped the sun and moon, giving the Israelites more time to win. This miracle shows God can alter nature to fulfill His purposes and protect His people. Who was the first person to see the resurrected Jesus? A. Peter. B. Mary Magdalene. C. John. D. James. Correct answer, B. Mary Magdalene. Verse, John 20:14-16. She turned and saw Jesus standing there, but didn't know it was him. Jesus said, "Mary." She turned and said, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Mary Magdalene went to Jesus' tomb and found it empty. When she turned, she saw him, but didn't recognize him at first. Jesus called her by name, and she realized it was him. This shows Jesus physically rose and that his faithful followers were the first witnesses. In which town did Jesus raise Lazarus? A. Capernaum. B. Bethany. C. Jerusalem. D. Nazareth. Correct answer, B. Bethany. Verse, John 11:43-44. Jesus shouted, "Lazarus, come out." The dead man came out. Jesus said, "Unbind him and let him go." Jesus raised Lazarus in Bethany after he had been dead for 4 days. This miracle showed Jesus' power over death, strengthened his followers' faith, and foreshadowed his own resurrection. Which Roman centurion had his servant healed by Jesus? A. Cornelius. B. Pilate. C. Longinus. D. An unnamed centurion. D. An unnamed centurion. Verse, Matthew 8, 5-13. A centurion came, pleading, "Lord, my servant is paralyzed and suffering terribly." Jesus said, "Go, let it be done just as you believed." And the servant was healed instantly. An unnamed Roman centurion showed great faith in asking Jesus to heal his servant. Jesus praised his trust, noting it was greater than many in Israel. Faith, no matter who you are, is recognized and rewarded by God. Who replaced Judas Iscariot as the 12th apostle? A. Matthias. B. Barnabas. C. James, son of Alphaeus. D. Paul. Correct answer. A. Matthias. Verse, Acts 1:26. They cast lots, and the lot fell on Matthias, and he was counted with the 11 apostles. After Judas's betrayal, Matthias was chosen to restore the 12 apostles. This decision was made through prayer and casting lots, showing the importance of God's guidance in the early church. Which Old Testament king's lineage is fulfilled in Jesus' birth? A. Saul. B. David. C. Solomon. D. Hezekiah. Correct answer. B. David. Verse, Matthew 1:1. The book of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Jesus was born from King David's line, fulfilling God's promise that the Messiah would come from his house and throne. This confirms God's faithfulness and establishes Jesus as the rightful heir to Israel's prophecies. At the Last Supper, to whom did Jesus reveal most directly that Judas would betray him? A. Peter. B. John. C. James. D. All the Pharisees. Correct answer. B. John. Verse, John 13:25-26. The disciple leaning on Jesus' chest asked, "Lord, who is it?" Jesus answered, "The one I give this piece of bread to." Then he gave it to Judas Iscariot. Jesus announced the betrayal to all the disciples, but revealed it specifically to John, who was beside him, signaling Judas as the traitor through the piece of bread. What was Eve's punishment for disobeying God in Eden? A. Be expelled and never see Adam again. B. Pain in childbirth and submission to her husband. C. Work the fields with sweat and toil. D. Live in silence among her children. Correct answer? B. Pain in childbirth and submission to her husband. Verse, Genesis 3:16. I will greatly increase your pain in childbirth. With pain you will birth children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you. As a result of eating the forbidden fruit, Eve was punished with childbirth pain and submission to her husband. Together with Adam, she was expelled from Eden, losing access to the tree of life. Why did Herod order James to be killed and Peter to be imprisoned near Passover? A. Out of jealousy of Jesus. B. To please the Jews. C. For betraying the king. D. To stop the growth of the church. Correct answer? B. To please the Jews. Verse, Acts 12:1-3. About that time, Herod laid hands on some members of the church to mistreat them. He had James, John's brother, killed with the sword. Seeing that this pleased the Jews, he also arrested Peter during the festival. Herod wanted to win favor with the Jewish leaders and assert his authority. He killed James and imprisoned Peter to intimidate the church and try to stop Christianity from spreading, especially during Passover, when Jerusalem's spotlight was on the city. Thanks for joining this Bible quiz. May every answer strengthen your faith. Don't forget to like, share, and keep watching our other videos.